This is breaking news from WBRZ News 2. Live team coverage of an announcement concerning the shooting death of Alton Sterling. Now, a breaking news special report.
And we are finally set to hear the official decision just moments from now. We have interrupted program to carry the announcement live.
And soon after we hear from federal authorities, we expect to hear from Baton Rouge Mayor Sharon Weston Broome and the governor of Louisiana.
Alton Sterling was shot and killed by 2 Baton Rouge police officers last year. Since, there's been a federal civil rights investigation into what happened and if any laws were broken.
We already know through the leaks at the Federal Department of Justice that 2 officers involved will not face federal charges, but we will know much more about the federal inquiry soon. But first, here's a look at what happened.
Copy suspicious code 2 at 2100 North Foster Call for Bath Hills.
In the early morning hours of July 5th, the paths of one man and 2 police officers collided with the force of a meteor.
Tearing away any pretense of racial harmony in Baton Rouge.
This is a good person. What? For what?
He was defenseless once he was on the ground.
Alton Sterling eked out a living selling CDs and DVDs in the parking lot of the Triple S grocery store.
That's where he was when he was shot during a confrontation with Baton Rouge police officers Howie Lake II and Blaine Salamone.
So we were in the middle of this discussion, and he said, well, let me just tell you that it's not much footage from the body camera.
Within hours of the shooting, State Representative C. Denise Marcel asked Police Chief Carl Dabadie what body camera video from the officers showed.
So he said both body cameras came off, so it's not great footage from the body camera.
The lack of body camera video left many suspecting the police were trying to cover up the incident. A growing vigil for Sterling quickly turned to protest. Then on July 6th, cell phone video of the shooting emerged.
But certainly the footage that I observed of the video that was made available, I have very serious concerns. The video is disturbing, to say the least.
The governor called on religious and community leaders to help maintain calm while law enforcement scrambled to keep the city safe.
This is for your children. It's for my child. Take over the parking.
The plan seemed to be working. At the site of the shooting, Baton Rouge police kept its distance, allowing protesters to vent loudly but peacefully.
We're tired. We're tired of being murdered. We're tired of our blood dripping in the streets.
It would all change after July 7th.
That's when 11 police officers were shot, 5 of them killed during a sniper attack on a Dallas peace march. With the weekend approaching and protesters coming to Baton Rouge from all across the country, officials feared a Dallas-style mass shooting could happen here.
I have to go to work, and they're blocking the highway.
During those 3 days, July 8th through the 10th, there was a clear change in tactics. Riot police with armored vehicles were deployed. Protesters became more confrontational. The demonstrations moved from North Baton Rouge to police headquarters.
We couldn't say, and we wouldn't say because of the investigation going on, but what you saw in the response is because of the very real and viable threats against law enforcement.
The images broadcast to the world suggested Baton Rouge had turned into a police state.
Well, I think we have to do better.
The governor again called on community and religious leaders to intervene.
My father was a good man.
Even the Sterling family, as it prepared for a funeral, called for calm. But as the days passed, with no sign the officers involved in the shooting would be arrested, the city held its breath as a second weekend approached.
Then it happened. Sunday morning, July 17th, when most of Baton Rouge was getting ready to go to church.
I'm hit. Left arm. We do not have a 20 on the shooter. He is not in sight. Possibly sniper.
A military-trained assassin shot and killed 2 Baton Rouge policemen and 1 East Baton Rouge sheriff's deputy. 2 other deputies and an officer were wounded before a marksman was able to kill the shooter.
Few parents who raise these brave men I owe you. My wife owes you. My children owe you. We all owe you.
As our community mourned, Attorney General Loretta Lynch promised an investigation that would extend beyond the Sterling shooting to include the relationship between police and citizens they protect.
Now is the time to ensure that every American, everyone, under the sheltering arm of our Constitution, feels respected, feels supported, feels safe. Everyone.
Now we learn
what that means.
The decision, though, coming today not from Lynch, who was part of former President Barack Obama's administration, but from new Attorney General Jeff Sessions' agency. He was appointed by President Trump. Sessions is a lawyer from Alabama and was a U.S. Senator before becoming head of the U.S. Justice Department.
So let's take you to a live look where, again, we are awaiting the details of this federal inquiry. Again, a live look at where a news conference is going to happen in the next couple of minutes. News 2's chief investigator Chris Nakamoto is there live. We will talk to him very soon.
And of course, we'll be hearing from the acting U.S. Attorney for Louisiana's Middle District. He'll be involved in this announcement. His name is Corey Amundson, and he's the chief federal law enforcement official in our area, and he is a former federal prosecutor. Well, if you're just joining us, we've interrupted programming to carry the U.S. Justice Department's news conference live.
It deals with the federal investigation into the shooting death of Alton Sterling by 2 Baton Rouge police officers last summer.
And part of our live team coverage, joining us now in studio, Prim Burns, a veteran prosecutor from Baton Rouge, and former Baton Rouge Police Chief Pat Inglade, along with Southern University Law School Chancellor John Pierre. We want to thank all of you for being with us today.
This is breaking news from WBRZ.
Justice. I'm also joined by
You're looking at the federal attorney, Corey Amundson. He's getting ready to talk about the Sterling case, surrounded by the officials that worked the case. Let's listen in.
For 28 years, the experts also concluded unanimously that the officer's actions were not unreasonable, and because of the quickly unfolding and dangerous circumstances, and therefore met constitutional standards.
We're getting reaction today from our panel.
We just have to be truthful. African-American males in America today, I've had this conversation with my son, who's 30 years old. We have to be more willing to understand that sometimes, many times, life is not fair.
Every police officer every day has a situation where they could become a deadly force issue on any given minute. Right now, as I'm speaking.
Our state law recognizes that an officer can make a mistake and be held criminally liable. The feds do not, under this statute, recognize that. That's the huge difference, is that if you are negligent, if you overreact, if you are not justifiably using self-defense, then you can in fact be prosecuted and convicted. That's the difference between the two.
That'll do it for now. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will be back here later today on WBRZ News 2 at 4 o'clock.
We'll see you then.